Okay, when we left class this morning, our game was somewhat functioning in that we replaced the character. We had the character in there, he had the idle pose, was moving around, was coming in and out of the jumping animation, but was never going into the walking and idling or running animation. So a little bit of troubleshooting is in order. First thing I might choose to do would be to put our character back to the way it was. So we're going to undo this. We're going to set it back to the mannequin, and we're going to go back to the third-person animation blueprint, and we're going to play. And here you can see he's in the idle, and he's walking and running. So we haven't broken anything else in the game. So let's do a little testing here. To me, it looks like I messed up the speed variable in that it never registered the speed variable, so I would go into my content, the new character, and let's check and make sure that I didn't misspell speed or something like that. So looking at the blend space, here I've got the name spelt properly, speed, and speed here, and it's probably correct in my animation blueprint as well because I didn't get any errors. So I look in the event graph, or in my character I have speed here, and it's spelt properly there as well. So that's looking okay. So let's do a little debug here and see, maybe we can see what the speed variable is. So if we look at our third-person character here, the one that is working, we can see some logic, and there's something here about setting the speed using it in the 1D blend space, and there's a set value right here. So let's just print that as a debug, and we're just going to drive it here with the value that's set in the speed variable, and it auto does a conversion for us. And this was just I was really thinking I had misspelled speed somewhere along the way, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So let's try this. Now when I play, I've got a speed of 0 being printed out on the side because I'm not moving, but as I move you can see I'm getting some characters, or the character is going speed 600. When I stop I'm getting nothing. Okay, so let's set this back on our character. So let's go to our character's animation blueprint. So here's our character's animation blueprint, and we're in the event graph, and look at this. When I copied this earlier, I missed setting the speed node. It was a sloppy copy. So what I need to do here is actually set the speed variable, because the speed variable was never being sent in this blueprint. The speed was always 0 or non-existent, and it was never going into the run animation. So this is setting the speed variable, and you can see here, let's compare it to the default character here. You can see the default character, after the is in air state, it's also dealing with the speed, and here it sets the speed, the value of the vector, into speed, and here it never got set. So we could either drag out speed from here and do a set, or we could drag out from here and say set speed. So I'm going to set the speed variable, and I need to connect the execution pin here, and then just as a good measure I'm going to debug here, which is what I came here to do, was to print the value of the speed variable so that we could see what was going on, and that's when we noticed the discrepancy or difference in what I pasted in. I missed pasting in this last node when I dragged over the content this morning. So I'm going to save it and compile it. Back in the main game, we still have the default character in here. So let's go and change him to our character, C1 T-pose, and let's set the animation to use the C1 T-pose animation blueprint, and see it's already looking better. He's got the idle pose. I'm going to run it now. I'm printing out speed 0. My speed variable is increasing, and I now have walking and running on my character. So a sloppy copy this morning. When I copied the blueprint, caused the speed variable to not get set, and because of that it never went into the animation pose, or into the so I'm going to just disconnect this. Should we ever go back to that character, we don't need it printing the speed out, but I'll leave it in there as a reference. And again, here on this one, this was simply debug to print speed where we found the bad copy. So when I copy and pasted this morning, I missed this particular node. Missed this node in the original copy and paste. I'm just going to make this a little bigger here. So this one node right here is the node that I missed when I did the original copy and paste, and because of that, the speed variable was never being updated for our character, and as a result, it had nothing to feed the blend space. And that's why it would jump, because the jumping action wasn't related to the blend space. It's triggered separately. The speed is the value that changes if the character is idling, walking, or running, and because we didn't feed it speed, it never changed states. So we now have the game running. No, I forgot to disconnect that. So with this, let's leave this in, but again, just disconnect it here. Save it and compile it because we don't need the speed printing out on the side. And now we have the game running around with our character in game. So thank you, and again, interesting little mistake, and a little bit of debugging to solve it gave us the correct answer. Thank you.